Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I am so excited to share my latest watercolor piece with you. As you can see, I have been painted this seagull perched on a pier. There's something so peaceful yet strong about these birds, and I really wanted to capture that ocean breeze feeling. I painted this using a mix of loose washes and fine details. I am particularly happy with how the purples and deep blues in the wings stand out. They give the bird so much more character than just using plain black or grey. Art is all about the journey, and this piece was a big part of mine for 2026. I would love to hear what you think in the comments. Does it make you want to head to the beach, or are you just here for the watercolor vibes? Let's dive into how I actually put this together. First, I started with a very light pencil sketch to get the proportions of the bird right. For the background, I used a wet on wet technique. I pre-dampened the paper and dropped it in various shades of cerulean and cobalt blue, letting the water do the work to create those soft, dreamy edges. Once the background was dry, I moved to the seagull. Instead of reaching for black, I mixed ultramarine blue with a touch of burnt sienna to create these rich chromatic shadows on the neck and underbelly. This keeps the painting looking alive and vibrant. For the dark feathers, I used a more concentrated pigment with less water. I layered deep indigos and violets, leaving a few tiny white gaps to represent the light hitting the feathers. This contrast is what makes the bird pop against the soft sky. The soul of the painting is in the eye and the beak. I used a tiny detail brush for the yellow beak and that sharp black tip. Finally, I grounded the bird by painting the rock using a dry brush technique to get that rough, stony texture. There's a specific kind of quiet you only find at the docks early in the morning, and that's exactly what I wanted to capture here. Seagulls are often seen as loud or busy, but in this moment I wanted to show the grace and stillness of the bird. I chose a vertical composition to emphasize the bird's posture, standing tall and looking out toward the horizon. You might notice I didn't use much true black hair. Instead, I layered deep violets and indigo to give the feathers a more natural, iridescent look. The contrast between the warm yellow of the beak and the cool watery blues of the background is what really makes the subject pop off the page. I kept the background very minimal and washy so that all the focus stays on the texture of the feathers and the sharp detail of the eye. The hardest part of this piece was the white space. In watercolor, you have to plan ahead to leave the paper white for the highlights, like on the seagull's chest. Getting the bleed right in the background was a challenge. I had to work fast while the paper was still damp to get those soft cloud-like edges. If you look closely at the legs and the rock, I used a dry brush technique to create that scratchy, weathered texture of the pier. Art is about seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. To most, it's just a bird. To an artist, it's a study of light, shadow, and survival. This painting represents a moment of reflection. Just like this bird, sometimes we all need to stop and just watch the world go by for a while. If you look at the chest of the bird, I used a very pale, diluted wash. It's almost the color of the paper itself, which helps create that bright sunlight effect. I didn't want this to just be a picture of a bird. I wanted it to be a portrait. There's a certain look in its eye, a mix of curiosity and alertness that makes it feel like it's watching me just as much as I am painting it. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes in my studio with me today. I hope this seagull inspires you to pick up your brushes and see what happens when you let the colors flow. Remember, every stroke is a step forward in your journey. If you enjoyed this process, please hit the like button and subscribe to see what I am painting next. Until then, keep creating and stay colorful. Bye bye.